You're 16 when the debt collectors arrive. Not for you, for your older cousin Mateo. He borrowed 250,000 pesos to open a small electronics stall in a market that was already dying. Cheap imports crushed the business in 5 months. The interest didn't collapse with it. Two men park outside your house while your mother is working a late shift, cleaning offices downtown. They don't knock right away. They sit in the truck, engine running, like they've got all the time in the world. Mateo notices them through the window, and his hands start shaking before they even step out. When they finally knock, the conversation is calm, almost polite. They explain the numbers. The debt has doubled. Mateo doesn't have it. The solution is simple. Someone works the debt. Someone young, reliable, invisible. Mateo looks at you. He doesn't say your name, but he doesn't have to. You understand before he speaks. They say your mother never needs to know. They say it's temporary. Mateo cries after they leave. You don't. Not because you're brave, because you don't fully understand what just happened yet. 2 days later, they pick you up before sunrise. No uniforms, no threats, just a quiet drive to the industrial outskirts of the city where abandoned warehouses stretch for blocks. Inside one of them are metal tables, crates, and 12 other boys. Some look 14. One looks like he already has a child somewhere. Nobody talks much. The first thing they teach you is not shooting. It's observation. You stand on the roof with binoculars watching traffic patterns on the street below. Who slows down at the corner? Which cars pass twice? Which people avoid eye contact? The instructor says bullets solve problems quickly, but information prevents problems before they start. After that comes weapons training. AK pattern rifles first, then pistols. The first time you fire the rifle, the recoil slams into your shoulder so hard it feels like the bone shifted. Everyone laughs except the instructor. He tells you pain is your introduction to responsibility. By the end of the week, your shoulder is purple, but you can keep your shots inside a metal drum at 30 meters. They also show you a video, 40 minutes long, no commentary, just real violence recorded somewhere else. Nobody tells you what the test is, but you figure it out quickly. If you look away, you fail. A few boys walk out halfway through. They don't come back. You sit there the whole time. You don't feel strong. Mostly you feel empty. Apparently that counts as passing. Your first job isn't violent. They give you a backpack and an address across town. Your instructions are simple. Ring the doorbell, hand the package to whoever answers, leave immediately. When the man opens the door, he smiles politely, thinking you're delivering something he ordered. You hand him the box and walk away. Halfway down the sidewalk, 2 gunshots echo behind you. Later, someone explains what happened. Inside the package was a phone showing photos of the man's family. The shooters used you to get the door open. You were never the killer. You were the key. Your payment is 4,000 pesos. Your mother earns 600 pesos a day cleaning offices. The math makes a certain kind of sense that scares you because it works. The next 6 months are lookout duty. 12-hour shifts standing on corners with a prepaid phone. You report police patrols, military convoys, unfamiliar vehicles. Nothing glamorous, just watching. One kid in another neighborhood falls asleep during his shift. A week later, someone says his body parts were found in 3 different towns. Nobody mentions his name again. Eventually, they move you into transport work. Cash first, black duffel bags that smell like rubber and sweat. Then weapons hidden inside crates of vegetables. One night, you help unload a cooler that's leaking dark fluid onto the pavement. Nobody opens it while you're there. That job pays 9,000 pesos. Your mother asks where the money is coming from. You say the construction company you work for gave you more hours. She hugs you so hard it hurts. At 18, they give you your first real assignment. A bar owner stopped paying protection money. You arrive wearing a utility vest like a city maintenance worker. Clipboard in hand, you ask the owner to sign a fake inspection document. When he leans over the paper, you pull the pistol and fire twice. The sound inside the bar is deafening, but nobody moves. Everyone just watches you walk out the door. You go home, wash your hands, eat dinner. Your pulse stays steady. That steadiness gets noticed. They promote you to regular operations. Salary? 18,000 pesos a month plus bonuses. Bonuses come with categories. Rival crew member, police officer, informant, journalist. Every life has a number attached. Your handler is a man people call El Tiempo because every job comes with a deadline measured in minutes. He doesn't care about creativity. He cares about timing, photo, address, schedule, deadline. Complete the task before the clock runs out. One assignment nearly breaks the system inside your head. The photo he sends is a street vendor you recognize, a man who used to sell fruit with chili powder outside your old school. He borrowed money for his wife's cancer treatment. He fell behind on interest. Same trap Mateo fell into. You sit in your car outside his house for 40 minutes watching him water plants on the porch. Eventually you call El Tiempo and say the target never appeared. The next day the house is empty. Someone else finished the job. You never ask who. Over time you develop a reputation not just for shooting but for disguise. Reflective vest and hard hat to enter construction zones. Medical scrubs to walk through hospital corridors. Delivery uniform with a pistol hidden inside a food bag. People trust uniforms more than faces. You walk into places other shooters would have to break into. By your 10th assignment, the mental language changes. They're no longer people. They're tasks, files to delete, problems to solve. The shooters who can't make that switch usually collapse. Drugs, panic, mistakes that get them killed. You survive because you built a switch in your head that turns empathy off. The first crack appears one night while you're scrolling through news on your phone. The bar owner you killed had a daughter. There's footage of her holding a stuffed animal at his funeral. You close the video halfway through and never watch local news again. Not because you fear being recognized, because people are harder to erase than targets. Your reputation grows. They give you a nickname, Silencio. No theatrics, no videos, just quiet efficiency. You enter, someone stops breathing, you leave. Your salary climbs to 45,000 pesos a month. With bonuses, you sometimes clear over 120,000. You buy your mother a house in a better neighborhood. 3 bedrooms, a small garden. She cries when you give her the keys. She thinks you're working private security contracts. Your younger brother gets new school uniforms. Your sister gets tutoring for math. They see you as the one who fixed everything. You never correct them. Money changes things in subtle ways. You avoid flashy cars or jewelry because attention kills people in your line of work. Instead, you spend on quiet improvements. Dental care for your mother, school supplies for cousins, rent paid for relatives who don't ask questions. In neighborhoods like yours, money rarely comes with investigation. You're simply the kid who made it. Eventually, you're summoned to a meeting with the regional boss everyone calls El Jefe. 12 men around a long table. Most of them have reputations that travel faster than their names. El Jefe studies you for a while before speaking. He says you're disciplined, professional, quiet. He wants you on his security team. Your salary doubles overnight. The new role is different. You're no longer hunting. You're guarding the man everyone else wants dead. 24-hour rotations inside fortified houses. Your rifle is never more than an arm's length away. You sit through meetings you shouldn't hear. Suitcases full of cash appear like normal office supplies. Politicians and police commanders visit and leave quickly. You realize the cartel isn't just criminals. It's a parallel government running beside the official one. Around this time, you meet Sophia at a small pharmacy. She works night shifts as a nurse at a trauma clinic and recognizes the calluses on your hands instantly. On the second date, she asks what you actually do. You tell her enough of the truth to scare most people away. She doesn't leave. She says she's treated men like you at 3 in the morning and understands that the world isn't simple. For 8 months, she's the only person who sees you without the armor. Then your assignments change again. Instead of protecting the boss, you start tracking defectors, people who tried to leave the organization, accountants who stole money, informants who talked. One former colleague fled to another city and changed his name. You find him in 8 days working at a car wash. When he sees you, he doesn't run. He asks for 2 minutes to call his daughter. You give him exactly 2. Some jobs stay in your head longer than others. Once you knock on a door expecting a target and a woman answers instead. 2 children watching cartoons behind her. She says the man you're looking for moved out months ago. You walk away without explaining why you were there. 3 days later, you track him to another apartment. But the image of those kids on the couch doesn't leave your mind. Not because you almost killed the wrong person, because you know you would have if he'd been there. Then the war starts. Rival groups fight for control of the city. 2 weeks of gunfire, grenades, armored vehicles crashing through narrow streets. Schools close, businesses shutter, entire neighborhoods empty overnight. By the end of it, you've lost 3 men from your unit. Your body collects new scars. Shoulder, thigh, rib cage. Some ache when it rains. All of them ache when you remember how they happened. Paranoia becomes routine. You never sit with your back to a door, never take the same driving route twice. You memorize exits everywhere you go. Your brain runs constant threat calculations like background software that never shuts down. One night, a military checkpoint stops your car. Real soldiers, real rifles. One of them checks your identification and glances at the bag on the back seat containing a disassembled weapon. He pauses, then hands your ID back and waves you through. You drive 2 blocks before your hands start shaking. Not because you almost got caught, because he chose not to see you. That's when you understand how deep the system goes. Eventually, Sophia leaves. Quietly, no screaming. She says loving someone who lives like this feels like waiting for a phone call from the morgue every night. She'd rather leave now than watch you disappear piece by piece. By 24, you're one of the oldest surviving operators from your original group. Most are dead, a few are in prison. The organization makes you an instructor. The new recruits arriving are 15, 16, maybe younger. Same hunger, same empty determination you had years ago. One of them stands out immediately. A quiet boy everyone calls Sombra. He learns everything fast, too fast. Watching him feels like looking into a mirror that shows your past. One evening, a colleague casually mentions, the organization thinks experienced shooters are expensive. Younger ones are cheaper and easier to control. You realize something then. In this world, nobody retires. They just get replaced. You pack a bag one night. Cash, fake documents, a pistol. You start driving south before dawn. 200 kilometers later, you stop at a gas station in the middle of nowhere. You sit there staring at your hands on the steering wheel. Eventually, the realization hits you harder than any gunshot ever did. Running changes location. It doesn't change history. You drive back home. Your family is eating dinner when you walk through the door. Your brother is talking about studying engineering. Your sister is complaining about homework. Your mother is laughing at something on television. They're alive, safe, fed. Their safety built on a foundation you can never explain. You sit down with them, knowing one thing for certain. Your story already has an ending. The only variable left is the date. And somewhere out there, a younger kid is learning how to shoot, watching the same training videos, standing on the same rooftops you once did, waiting to replace you.